Good evening. My name is Susan Stevenson. I'm the Chair of the Board of Architectural Review and Historic Preservation for the Village of Southampton, New York. Do I have a motion to open our meeting on June 24th, 2019?
I make a motion that we open this meeting of the Board of Architectural Review and Historic Preservation on June 24th, 2019.
Second, aye.
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 Great. Next. Oh. Before we begin, I'd like to make it clear that I expect everyone, the board and the public, to act and speak with civility during this meeting. Anyone who wants to speak should sign up on the front desk so we have the correct spelling of your name and know how to address you. No one may speak until they are recognized by the chair. If you are presenting materials, please place them on the table facing the board so that the videographer can pick them up. And now I'd like to introduce our board for tonight. To my left, Rob Coburn, Christina Redding. To my right, Curtis Highsmith. Mr. Broadleib is not here tonight. Our counsel, Bo Robinson. Our historic consultant, Zach Studenroth, is at a conference and will not be here. And our videographer is Charles Styler, and Antoinette Edwards is our recording secretary. So,
May I make a motion that we approve the minutes for the June 10th meeting?
yeah, we just,
With correction.
yeah,
With correction?
yes. Second?
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain. I wasn't here.
Aye. Okay, but that's 3. Next, signs. Campo Verde Carpentry Corporation. Is there anyone here to represent this application? I don't think so. So, and there were some issues.
It was kind of wordy.
Yeah, so we're going to have to, what do we do, send a letter to them or just wait?
Send a letter.
Can we send a letter saying someone needs to come to the meeting?
Maybe it's
A meeting, not the meeting. It's up already, too. Next, Blue Mar, 136 Main Street, storefront and ID sign. Please come forward and introduce yourself.
Zach Gardam from 75 Main Group.
One of these the street sign was adjourned because we didn't have a rendering. And the one on this wall, already is
Yes.
up. Is that correct?
We got 2 signs.
Put it on the
Can you
table.
put it down, lay it down
Is this
facing us
in the
on
file?
table?
Whatever.
This is not even,
Just
the
down
thing
there.
you're showing us is not in the file. The piece of paper. Is that right?
Yes, it's not up there.
It's not in the file?
It should be in the file.
I know it should be in the file, but it is not in the file, so, okay. So one is the street sign.
Can you describe the materials involved?
It's just a canvas.
Canvas?
Yes.
It's white canvas with the blue lettering.
Blue letter on it,
Did
yes.
it go through, usually the dimensions are approved by ordinance, and I don't see that this is in the file. And I see that you had originally asked,
That was a couple years ago, yeah.
no, that someone came from the sign company and said you were replacing it with the same sign, but, oh, it says needs application adjourned. All right, so you're not doing what that person said, you want to do this, is that correct? But it hasn't been measured or...
I have the sizes here. This one is,
Which ones are the?
this one is 72, 36 by 72, and this one is 52 by 36.
The oval one is the street sign, is the smaller.
Smaller one, yes, by the corner.
For the file, we'll be able to keep a copy of that so that the file is complete, and that
Yes, sir.
way we have.
Yes, sir.
we'll have a copy
What
of
is the
this.
material on the oval sign, the street
Nobody,
sign?
this
AZEK, or is it?
same, yes, basic canvas.
Okay, it's a canvas to lay over the existing sign?
The one on the building is canvas?
So they're both canvas?
No,
This one
it's
is going to be
plastic.
the canvas, but this one is, I'm sorry, no, it's not a glass.
Is it like
Yeah.
plastic?
It's
Yeah,
a
it's
kind of
plastic.
plastic,
Like a-
yeah.
like a
Vinyl.
pe- like
It's a
a-
it's a vinyl.
It's a vinyl that you stick on?
Yes, ma'am.
I got it. And the dimensions, we just don't have the dimensions, so
Which are on.
It's on there?
That's over here, yes.
If you're gonna have to
We
send it
got
to
that
her so
stamped-
she can
yeah,
stamp it in.
Her stamp it in. Dimensions are on one of them, but not on the other.
Is the oval sign in your permit package?
no, that's what I'm saying. Maybe I'm missing something.
Very hard to read.
No, it isn't in there. This isn't even in there. So what are we gonna do? We have to have them go through the,
Well, the dimensions on the building are there. So
we
this
could
is the
approve, it's already
signs
up.
on
Do
the
you want to approve
building.
that one? The other one we can't approve because we don't have any dimensions that are, it's
said it's
like
a
a
can-
process, you know?
I can get those.
You said it's a canvas, so you're just laying it over. It's removable, it's not permanent?
There is nothing there right now. The first one is on the wall. It's there, which is vinyl.
Okay.
The one's going to be on the corner,
The street sign.
street sign. That will be.
And
That will also be canvas?
I'll double check with that. I'm not sure what exactly we're going to
So,
do.
so for tonight,
Just
the
do this
building is
building
fine,
sign.
but, you know, I know you trying to get your business going, and we definitely don't want to do anything against growing business in the village of Southampton. But if there's something temporary or for the, that's not permanent for the street sign until you can have the specifics, because right now, like I said, the dimensions are not
And the
there.
materials.
so this
Is there an existing street sign?
It was.
Yes,
It
it's in
was.
here.
It's been
Based
there.
on-
It's been there forever. Yes.
Is this the same size as that existing?
Just the shape is different. It used to be
different
like
shape.
square.
Here, Rob,
Look at the one on the last page. She had it.
Okay, yeah, I saw that. Okay,
It's going to be in the same location as a
Okay.
different shape.
It's just that it's oval.
on the same post. Okay.
so it's not,
Yeah. Well, I second what Curtis said. We don't want to make things difficult, but we just need to see the dimensions and materials on the street sign. But I'll make a motion, well, we.
so we're
see if there's
adjourning this
public
street
comment,
sign?
or- Let me see if there's any public.
Yeah, but let's just get over
Yeah.
the logistics here.
Well, you can make it simple. There's a Kozu sign there now, right?
Exactly.
You make it exactly like the Kozu sign that's currently there, rather than oval.
He wants to.
Its sign is already done. We haven't put it up there.
Okay, so do I have a motion to approve this, what is being, I believe, called the storefront sign?
Right. I'll make a motion that we approve the rectangular sign for the side of Blue Mar, which is 36 inches by 72 inches.
Second,
Aye.
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 All right,
Ask you
so
to
you're
just-
just gonna have to, we actually need it to be stamped into the building department and have the people measure it.
The other sign.
Yes,
separate
every sign,
Dimensions and
not just your
materials, just
sign.
something that describes the dimensions
Okay,
and
all right,
materials.
we'll
Building
do that.
sign's
Okay.
fine. Building sign's fine.
Okay, so
We're
that's,
gonna add this to the file.
Right.
if we-
okay?
All right.
Thanks very much. See you next time. Next, great, 95 Main Street, window sign. Is there anyone here?
What does it look like?
They have a lot of vinyl on, letters
This
and
is it.
stuff.
I'm gonna pass that
Yeah.
down.
So, this is great.
It's
That's
just-
different.
That's what I believe. It's
two-
just
yeah,
these
word
two
So
great.
signs.
those, yeah.
Just the
that's-
window decal. It's not
Right.
decorative. It's
Do you have any problem
gold
with
leaf
that?
lettering.
I don't, we should, here, let me hold it up. Charlie, can you pick this up from one of your cameras?
It's gold leaf lettering. It's decals that are on the window. It's not too decorative. I don't find that to be.
No, it's not. I've gone past it a million times.
Anyone in the public have comment on this sign? The window, this is the window decal. It may be hard to see, but it says great.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
I'll make a motion that we approve the window decals, that we approve the window decal signage for great.
Second,
Aye.
Aye.
You and
I was an aye.
I? Okay.
Okay, next, Sandy Kaufman, 46 Main Street, window sign.
Aye.
Let me get this going.
Do I say my name?
Yes.
Sandy Kaufman, owner.
Oh, okay. So, I think the second line maybe would,
You want to
Be an
describe what's being
advertisement.
proposed?
Do I want to, sorry?
Describe what's being proposed. It's just window decal?
Exactly.
And what does it say?
It says Sandy Kaufman, LCSW, CST, sex and relationship therapy. I'm a psychotherapist.
So I
Afraid to speak.
find, oh, sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
just say.
Go ahead, Curtis.
I
Say
think
what
we
you
all
want.
need you right
Monday
now.
through Thursday.
Literally.
So,
Is the word sex a problem?
no, usually it's the advertisement. You're showing your professional name, and so we don't usually have descriptive material underneath.
Oh, because I think Leah has it. She's the psychiatrist in the window right next door.
Say adult and child psychiatry.
Yeah.
It does?
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Well, was that an approved? This is part of our problem. I have no, I don't think that we, in my being on the board, Leah's sign was ever approved, but I couldn't be sure. I find it to be something of what we call billboardish. Anyone else?
If there was a telephone number and all that in website and other features, I probably would agree, but it's just basically name of the organization, company, and what
It's not
She
a company, it's a
practices
professional.
profession.
All right, anyone else? Anyone from the public?
I share the concerns about billboardy, but I agree with Curtis in this case that, although it is descriptive of what she does, I don't think it's too billboardy, and there's not other.
I'm using Ron Fisher, and I had discussed it with him, and he said that it was, according to code, it should be fine. So that's why we went ahead and did it like that. I wasn't sure if it would be okay, but Leah.
I don't think the
she
code
had it all.
addresses the billboardy part of this.
You're not ready for it.
It's part of my logo and my brand. I mean, it's just what I
Okay.
do. It's on my website.
I can't make I'm voting no, but the other ones are going to vote yes probably, is that correct? We have a motion? Is there anyone from the public? I asked that. We have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the sign for Sandy Coffin.
Second,
Aye.
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 Nay. It's approved. Good luck.
Thank you.
Yes, good luck.
Next,
Okay, fine.
snow, 50 Main Street, window sign.
Hi, Nina Gezerlayak on behalf of the applicant. This is the improved version of the window decal. During the June 10 meeting, the old design was rather busy based on the board's recommendations, so we've amended and simplified it.
And Charlie, would you just for the record, pan in on the lower one, which is the busy existing one? Okay. So that's what's there now,
Correct.
and what you would like to do is the one above.
Simplify it to the one above based on the board's recommendation, and then remove that.
Okay. And Charlie, could you just,
Go up.
pardon me, but zoom into the other? Okay. So it's removing the list.
We're removing everything and then bringing that down, so.
Anyone from the public have anything to say?
Thank you. What do you think?
I think it's fun.
How about you?
That was billboardish, but
Too.
I think it's not
Slightly,
irrational.
it's subtle. Okay, motion to approve the application for the window sign of snow.
So moved?
A second?
Second,
Aye.
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 Thank you, appreciate it.
Next, Stove and Schuster real estate sign.
I don't have that.
We don't have that. No. Oh, wait,
Get back.
did you submit it today?
No, it was like Tuesday, I believe.
Okay.
it
'cause
was.
I
Or no,
didn't see
last
it in
Thursday,
there.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Last Thursday?
Yeah, whatever the deadline was that Diane gave me.
Okay.
Would you, sir, excuse me, would you just
sorry.
hand me that sheet that's down
Sure.
there now, or you can hand it over?
I'm Mark Schuster, broker.
The other
at Stoughton
applicant, did he
Schuster.
ever give you the, Blue Mar, did he ever give you the,
He has to
Yes,
come back,
he
yeah.
did.
All right. So there's nothing to show the,
No, just the picture that I have there.
Charlie, I'm holding it up.
34 inches high, 12 and a quarter wide by 18 and a half.
it's a real estate
34
market.
inches includes the post.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and then the actual sign itself is 12 and a quarter by 18 and a half. Small.
It's a real estate marker.
Yeah.
It'd be present for properties or parcels that you're selling in the village of Southampton.
Yep.
You just the telephone number, no website, no email, no
No, that's it.
white background, blue lettering.
That's it.
I have no objection.
All right, motion to approve the sign of Stove and Schuster real estate sign.
I make a motion that we approve this real estate sign for Stovey and Schuster.
Second? Aye.
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 Thank you.
Good luck.
Next, written decisions. Cooper's Neck Lane LLC, demolish existing one-story cottage and construct 2 sets of driveway gates.
Have decision in the file for vote tonight, approving the application as submitted. An affirmative vote on that motion would be to approve the application.
Okay. Anyone have anything to say about this?
I have no
Okay,
problems with the written decision of the application.
great.
I'll make a motion that we approve the written decision by council on the plan submitted for the construction of 2 sets of driveway gates.
Actually, there's only one set of driveway gates.
Right, 1 set, 2 gates, 1 set, and the demolition of the existing one-story cottage at 65 Cooper's Neck Lane.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
great. Here you go, Rob. Next, OCWEN Deutsche Bank, 155 Hampton Road.
After the meeting last week, the board received a letter from a concerned citizen, and I believe it affects the timing of at least the decision on this application, which the village attorney would like to discuss with the board. So therefore, I'm asking someone to make a motion to reopen the application, reopen this matter for general purposes.
I move that we reopen the application of 155 Hampton Road for general purposes.
Second.
Aye.
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 We had a concerned citizen write a 4-page letter with regard to this property in which he addressed several issues. I have talked with that individual and discussed 2 issues with him, which was the commentary that he made regarding the presentation of the hearing without the affidavit of posting or the affidavit of mailing being submitted. And although it's on the tape, I pointed out to him that I personally voir dired the applicant's representative, who testified that he himself had performed the mailing and he himself had noticed the property, placed the placard on the property. Upon questioning, he said that he had the affidavit, but it wasn't completed or signed. I technically could have taken his signature as a notary, but I thought that would delay the meeting. So he represented that he would send in both documents completed the next day, which he did. So therefore, I think the commentary on that was a little misplaced. The second issue was some commentary about the barn garage, as it were, which I found interesting but not substantive. However, he did comment that the house on the property, which is a listed asset, dates to the pre-Civil War era. It was an example of a rooming house on Hampton Road. Obviously, it was the family by the name of Woolley that had it, from which the street gets its name. But he pointed out that he believed that that the house was currently unheated during the winter, that there may be interior damage due to roof leaks. So based upon that notice to the board, it's the opinion of the Attorney General that the board requests the applicant's representative return to the board, that in the meantime you delay a decision on the application itself, and that we communicate by this individual who's not here tonight to appear at the next meeting with a representative of the bank or the owner who is authorized to speak on behalf of the owner, so that you can exercise due diligence to question them as to the status of the house, what is being done to maintain it, that it is not being maintained in a manner that would be derelict to the board in contravention of the village code, which requires that historic structures be adequately maintained. And based upon that questioning and the colloquy, you can make a decision as to what or what should be done or not be done, but at least I would think the historic consultant of the board and the building inspector should be allowed access to the interior of the house to determine its physical condition.
My first question would be, I don't disagree sort of with any of those premises, other than the premise that there's a direct connection between the demolition of the garage and the condition of the house.
There is none.
Okay.
There is none, and nor was there any evidence at the hearing. However, this has now been brought to the attention of the board, and it is an historic asset, and both items are on the same property.
Right. Okay. I personally don't believe that the condition of the house would change my view of whether or not to allow the demolition of the garage.
Nor is the village attorney asking you to do that, to connect the other. We're simply saying that as an administrative or procedural matter before the building department, as we have done many times in the past, if properties do have an apparent violation on them, you actually have not taken jurisdiction of some of those applications, and in other cases, you have declined to act on them until whatever previous condition is corrected. And I think that's a situation that may exist here, but it's up to the applicant's representatives to inform the board as to the condition of the house, and I think an inspection.
I think that's all reasonable.
So if you would then authorize...
In an effort to make the application complete and therefore not challenged or issued later on in date, I would agree with you to make sure that we extend every possible opportunity for both the applicant, representative of the applicant, and any persons who are interested in this party to be able to be heard.
So are you sending a letter?
Therefore, I would ask you to pass a resolution authorizing the village attorney to send the applicant's representative a letter requesting appearance at the next hearing for a continuation of this discussion. And in the meantime, you'll then adjourn the meeting for all purposes. Or you adjourn this application for all purposes, because you've now reopened.
Okay.
So a motion then, Antoinette, to authorize village attorney to write a letter to applicant's owner's representative requesting an appearance by them at the next meeting, and that the application be held open for all purposes.
I so move that motion.
Second.
Aye.
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 But would you also contact the writer of the letter, invite him to come? as
Yes,
well?
That's what we're
yes,
gonna
that's, I believe, the
Could just go over
contact
the
that we've
wording,
got.
so it's adjourned for all
Adjourned for all
purpose?
purposes. You've reopened it, so it's now adjourned for all purposes.
Okay, and we are
Authorizing,
authorizing you to write a letter.
Write a letter.
Explaining the circumstances and the need for
right, and
an
requesting that a representative attend the next meeting to discuss this further.
appearance. Okay,
Now a motion to adjourn the application for all
all right.
purposes.
Motion to adjourn the application of Aquan Deutsche Bank, 155 Hampton Road, for all purposes.
Second.
Aye.
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 Okay. Next,
Thank you, Bill.
there's no driveway gates. A miracle. Next, public hearings, non-historic. Captain's Neck Lane Realty LLC. Amend a prior ARB approval for revisions to accessory garages. This was denied by the ZBA, right?
They meet this Thursday. I don't know
Oh,
if
it's not
there's-
formal?
Yeah, I don't
so-
believe there's an official.
Okay, so were we adjourning?
Yeah, adjourn it for all purposes.
Motion to adjourn Captain's Neck Lane Realty LLC at 509 Captain's Neck Lane.
So moved.
And would you authorize Antoinette then to send a letter to the applicant's representative informing them that the matter is held open, but the board is considering deleting it from the agenda if there's no appearance? Yeah.
So first, we're,
So I'd just remake the motion. Motion to adjourn for all purposes the application at 509 Captain's Neck Lane, and to authorize,
No, Antoinette
Did you-
can send that,
okay.
oh, okay,
You want the building permits in the letter or you?
the building department.
okay. And to request that the building department send a letter notifying the applicant of its status, and that we
Right,
are
and-
inclined to remove it from the agenda without further direction from them.
Okay, so we need a second on the application to adjourn. I mean, the,
Second.
Aye?
Aye.
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 Next, Emily R. McCarthy, there's, I believe, a letter requesting adjournment to July 8th in the file at 63 Hunting Street. I didn't see it, but that's what this says.
That's correct. There is an
Yes, there
application
is.
requesting adjournment till July 8th. I move that we accept the applicant's request to adjourn 63 Hunting Street to the July 8th meeting.
Second.
Aye.
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 Next, Vincent and Bonnie Ponte, 455 Wickapog Road. Construct two-story, single-family dwelling with attached garage.
Hi, good evening. For the applicants, Bonnie and Vincent Ponte, Michael Sedlensky, 860 Montauk Highway, Unit 8, Watermill, New York, 11976.
You want to address this issue right away?
Did someone reach out from the building department to someone today on your
To the
team?
architect?
They did reach out to us in regards to, seems to be a discrepancy between a front window.
No,
Floor
not
plans
a
and
front window.
elevations.
It's a big, there are
There's
discrepancies.
Discrepancies between the elevations and the floor plans with respect to windows and the connector forms of the building.
And which, I understood there was two issues. If we look at the,
I
I have the plans here that I did speak to someone, I left a message on my phone, and it was regarding number of windows
Right.
relative to what we showed on the plans.
Right.
So I just
Name-
penciled,
Could you state your name for the record?
my name is Michael J. Warren, licensed architect, offices at 58 Oakwood in Huntington. So I just indicated the window changes on my floor plans here, and I also had the renderer today change. It's regarding the discrepancy was the windows flanking the entry gable. Okay, I believe the elevation was showing 5, and there were 4 on the plan, so I had made that change.
And also, there was some siding showing on both the connector forms on the plans, but not on the elevations. The elevations appear to show all windows across the entire width of those.
Yeah, they should go all the way, yes. We have a little bit of a return, which is exterior molding.
Can you
Can
turn
you
the
turn
plans
that around and face us? Do you mind?
Okay.
So
Both
so
plans,
which,
even the bottom,
Excuse me?
both plans.
The
Oh, floor plan, yes. Yes, that's here on that's the second floor plan. On the first floor plan,
so was the floor plan correct or was the elevation correct?
they should both be in sync now, okay?
Well,
As far-
Are there
So which
four?
is it? That's all I'm asking.
Okay, the floor plan is correct in terms of the fenestration.
Okay.
As you can see, there's 5 windows here, okay? I'm sorry, that's the second floor. First floor, there were 5 windows here in front of the great hall, okay? And there were 5 windows here in the dining room, and they somewhat match to give you some sort of symmetry to that. There was a larger window here that was changed. It's shown on the rendering and the elevations, and 3 windows here in the mudroom.
So these have not been revised.
Yes, I believe they have been. It was the plans that were in discrepancy with the plan. Oh, that one, I have the new front elevation showing the 5 windows flanking the main gate
Go ahead.
on both sides.
So are those, I'm sorry. We're just trying to understand what we're seeing. Are those floor plans there the same plans that were stamped on June 20th into the file? Or had they been revised?
No, the floor plans are the same.
These are with the handwritten corrections that were pointed out today.
Wait a minute, that's not the same thing then.
Okay.
We need,
I just
we're
ask a
having
real
trouble
simple
with the
question.
documentation because there's continuous changes that we haven't seen. We have this is what's submitted to the file, right?
June 20th,
Correct.
yes.
Yes.
And in that June 20th file, there is a mistake.
Right.
On this elevation, there's supposed to be 5 windows shown here, and to match the 5 windows here.
I'm just gonna ask
And
a
that
real simple
shows them on
question. Just bear with me 1 second because everyone's talking about various plans.
Sure.
Plans you have there, the large elevations, I'm sorry, floor plans there on the table.
Match my
Match what we have in file.
hand-drawn flat
Have there
elevations,
been
yes.
any pending changes to your plans that we don't have?
Other than those windows, there shouldn't be any other
Have
change.
there been any incomplete changes from that plan to here that we don't have?
Yes, the 5.
We don't have that.
That's correct.
That's the problem. So that's, we need to, I know you're showing it to us, but we don't have a copy of that to show us.
Well, I have copies here that I could submit to the board.
I think we should start with that. That way we don't confuse us.
Sure.
in terms of-
Sure.
Absolutely. Can we hand these up to the board?
You don't have small plans? These are the only plans
This is
you
the
have?
only plan. And I also have the,
This is just,
the updated,
how are we supposed to work under these circumstances?
So you have two sets of plans?
We go in and look at the
I
plans.
understand.
Someone found some mistakes, you didn't point it out to us, correct?
Yeah.
And now you're coming here and saying, well, we have like 2 pieces of paper and you're going to give it to us, but we haven't still seen the corrected plan. And I find that to be actually pretty much impossible for us to do our job. But that's me. Anyone else? I mean, really, we are, there's just one hurdle after another in here. We found a mistake. We notified you. We need to have correct plans. We don't have them. We still don't have them. You have 2 pieces of paper like that?
I have 2 sets of the plans with the window changes on them, and I have the revised AutoCAD
So the plans,
elevation.
wait, the plans, the actual building plans have window changes on them?
Yes, the first and second floor plan now match my elevations.
Let's take a look at the, because these plans don't, so the ones that are in the file don't.
Rob,
Rob, this is-
nothing that we have matches what he has.
No, we
That's
can't.
the-
This is just
so-
holding up the
know-
entire meeting.
What I would request of the board is if we can have it adjourned until your July 8th meeting.
That would be fantastic.
I would
Thank you.
suggest
I mean,
would
we
look at
are
this.
trying to work with you,
I
but it's
understand
just
this,
like,
this was just pointed out,
Okay.
today. It was obviously, it was a
Sir, I appreciate
It
it.
was a discrepancy in the,
Thank you.
in the drafting plan. We'd asked that you just put us on for your July 8th
okay.
meeting.
So you're
and-
asking us to adjourn until July 8th.
until
Motion
July
to,
Wait. Can you bring the plans in way before?
Yes,
Earlier.
we will bring them in.
it's not like a
It-
surprise party.
We understand that. We understand that.
Okay, great. Motion to approve applicant's request to adjourn to our next meeting on July 8th.
So moved.
Second, aye.
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 Great. Thank you very much. See you next time.
Bye, thank you.
All right, so do we need, none of these, is any of this?
No.
I guess they have to be.
You can still keep them.
For now,
Those-
for comparison.
But we have to make
Floor
sure.
plans that don't match.
Okay, next. Wickapog 1 LLC, 145 Wickapog Road, amend a prior ARB approval for revisions.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi. Cool. Okay, how about you? Your name, please?
Joe Oliveri. I work for Chris Garten Architect, and I'm representing Wickapog Road LLC.
Okay, thank you. And why weren't
Just
these?
printed out fresh copies of what I filed with you. Same exact thing, no changes. But I just want you all to have an individual copy. When we last met, I presented some changes to a previously approved design that were the result of mistakes that were made by the
Right,
original
okay, that's fine. We-
architect. So what you had asked me to do was to create a more complete set of elevations, what we're actually going to build, and prepare a list of all the changes and bubble the changes. I have done that.
I found this very helpful, so thank you.
You're welcome. It was your recommendation, so I'm glad that you appreciate it.
Yeah,
But I-
this is a lot of,
It is.
this is
It
a
is.
long list.
It is a long list, but if you look at each one of the changes that I made, and I'm willing to go through it if you would like, you'll see that every one of the changes that I made is definitely an improvement to the design. Most of which I presented last time, and you guys agreed that the changes were an improvement. Unfortunately, there were several things that the previous designer just didn't see.
My biggest concerns in the
What's that?
previous hearing, Susan, were the inconsistencies between what was being spoken about and what was actually drawn in
Right.
some cases, because there were square columns and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I didn't
Deja
have,
vu all over again.
for those changes that we went through, I agreed with most of them. I had a couple questions, but,
Well, it's kind of a lot to look at in, right this second.
But this is what was submitted last week, the same exact.
Okay, it was so, the way it was so complicated because we didn't, there are, I don't want to count them all, but what, 20 changes here?
Would you like me to go through them, to explain them, or?
4? You want?
I don't need, but if someone else does, I'm happy to hear more about them.
I'm willing to look at the renderings.
Could I start with a couple of questions?
Absolutely, yeah.
Just, to me, the changes are clear, they're bubbled and listed, so that's very helpful. The changes that catch my eye on the western facade, the west elevation.
What page are we on here?
This is
Three?
A4, and if you would open so Charlie could pick it up, thank you. The last page, yeah. I think that it's an improvement getting rid of the transoms in that center form, but I also look at the size of the windows and the amount of fenestration and the fact that the window forms in total have gotten wider, and it feels to me like you're losing some of the sort of historic references in the house by pushing those windows as far out to the sides of that form as possible.
I agree. Not some of. People didn't do that.
Is there a reason why those windows have to be collectively as wide as they are? Why there couldn't be? It looks to my eye like there's, say, a foot and a half of shingles on the side. Previously, it looks like it was more like 3 feet, 3.5 feet, something like that.
Yeah, we can certainly shrink them to conform to that.
I don't know, just, does anyone else?
Yes, I think
Share that
it
concern?
doesn't look right with the rest of it.
You use the same windows on A3, which is the north elevation.
Right,
I don't
same
mind
room.
them as much there,
Okay, yeah.
in part because you've got more,
There's
More
space
width.
between
there's more
them.
space.
Yeah, we can, what we'll do is we'll just take about 6 to 8 inches out of the width of all 3 windows, and that'll give us the width we need on the
But then
sides.
it'll be tall. You have to do it,
I'm gonna put the same windows back that are in the elevation above. That was the approved image above it. I'll put the same exact windows there without the transoms.
okay. Does that seem good, Rob?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I know it's probably just CAD, but just on the same elevation as you proposed, the front step there to the same center there, you're missing your steps. I'm assuming that's probably
On the
just the CAD.
proposed?
Yeah.
Are there steps? Or did you lower something, the plate?
Here?
On A4, you
Yes.
lower
The right side.
Right there,
in the middle.
there's steps.
Oh.
There's
Oh, right,
steps
yeah, the
above.
steps in the
Oh,
back, yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Just assume you just missed them, and that's fine. Is it, are you doing black trim? Is that the reason why it's so dark? Or are you trying to just kind of highlight the changes? in
Say
the
what the
window?
material-
Yeah, I was just trying to add line weights. I drew the drawings on the bottom, the drawings on the top were copies, so I was able to
So
just.
the bold is not necessarily the actual feature, it's not
No.
going to be black trim window?
No, no,
I
no,
think
no,
that's some, it's kind of sort of also giving a,
Modern.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. Doesn't help. Okay. On that same elevation, just to be clear, the posts now are all turned posts on all of the
Absolutely, throughout the design.
roofs? Okay, thank you.
Oh, did I miss one?
No, not that I see, I just wanted to confirm that. And I see on this elevation, where did I just see it? It's gone away
you're also
from me.
reducing chimney heights. And I'm on page A2. Eastern elevation.
Maybe just,
Again, I don't know if that's CAD or is that, looks like your
Yeah.
chimneys are getting
shorter.
beefier and shorter. Was that by design or?
Yeah, that was the size that we thought the chimney should be.
So that's a change, a correction between the proposed and,
The front chimney in particular, right?
yes.
Okay, we're not opposed to keeping the existing size of the chimney.
Just trying to put in the contents, what you're changing, what's not being changed, that's
Okay.
all.
I think it would be better without such big chimney. I'm not a big chimney. What was the reason for the bigger chimney? Anything?
We just wanted them to all match in size, and this one seemed a little small, so we just made it the same width as the other 2 that were in the house. But
Site plan for the side deck.
That's the existing chimney, right?
yes.
Well, then we need to keep with the real deal.
Okay.
Please.
On, sorry to hop around a bit, on A2,
Yep.
on the northern side, so the right side of that elevation, are those, it looks like they're sconces maybe over the board and batten, or?
Yes, the same as in the previously approved.
Yeah.
Yep.
I tried, like I was explaining last time, my intention was to match the
Yeah.
previous improved as much as I could.
What's the purpose of those sconces? There's not a deck there, right?
No, but that area of the board and batten is slightly stepped in from that main surface, so I think it's just, it's intended really to separate that bottom area as a great room and give it a little bit of definition from the exterior.
Also on A2, there's one window now that sort of floats in a funny way. Or there's a series of windows in the gable form near the center of the elevation, where you've got two windows at the same level on the second floor, and then you drop down.
Right.
Are there two different levels of the second floor in the house? Is that what's happening?
Yeah, there's a slight raise when you go up into the master bedroom suite.
Okay.
But previously, if you look closely, in the approved design, one of the trim of the windows is like into
Yes.
the eave, and
Understand.
that other tiny little window
Yep.
doesn't relate to anything, and none of the windows on the second story align with any of the windows on the first.
Yep.
And I think in what we changed below, every one of those windows now has something to relate to and align with, and it looks like a mistake above, you know? Even the one in the center of the gable is aligning with the two below it, so everything has something to jump from.
Okay,
I don't have any questions.
do you think we're hasty? Do you think we've had enough time to look at this? That's my only concern, Rob.
Yeah.
And board. Have you had enough time?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
Because we have looked at it 1,000 times, including the first time.
My apologies for that.
Well, it's not your problem.
I'll take as much
That is our
responsibility
job.
as I can.
Yeah, so, where are we?
Say the same public comment.
Any public comment? You need to step down, I'm afraid. We have more than one person up here at a time.
What's that?
Could you just go to the side? Thank you.
Good evening, Madeline Van John. I'm representing Bridget Fitzgerald, who's the neighbor to the west. The biggest concern is that we've been looking over the plans that have been submitted, and there seems to be some discrepancies with the roof height. The plans that were submitted last time to the plans that were submitted on June 20th, the roof height of the front portion, which includes the historic house, has changed. If you see on sheet A2 now, it's very close to the same height as the back of the house, which was not part of the original plan and wasn't shown quite that way on the plans that were submitted last time.
The roof on the back has come down, I believe, right?
Well, last time they said it was 33, and now it's 32 feet 3 inches, so that shouldn't explain why the front now looks that much higher. And so on the original plans, which were approved by the prior designer or whoever, the historic house was called out as being around 28 feet, and my understanding was that the historic house is going to stay there, and this new additions are going to be built around it. But it's never called out as to whether it is still 28 feet here, and it doesn't seem possible to be 28 feet if it's so close to this peak that is at 32 feet. And the plan has changed since last time, and I don't believe that was discussed. I think that's part of the reason why it looks like the chimneys are getting shorter, is because the roof is actually now shown to be higher in that area. So that's a discrepancy we'd like to see sorted out, or at least find out what's happening there, because certainly don't want to see this getting more massive as part of this. It's one thing to be changing window styles. And then also on sheet A2, the shed dormers on the second story on the back half of the property appear different than they did on the plans that were shown the last time. I'm not sure if that was a rendering error or something, but it is, I'm not sure what happens there.
When you say the plans that were shown last time, you mean in the previous meeting?
Yes,
or-
yes.
Okay, which we're not considering at the moment, because new plans have been submitted. But you're saying there's a discrepancy between the current plans and the ones that were shown at the last meeting?
Yes, and I mean, in terms of the height of the front portion, if that is supposed to be, the historic house is supposed to be staying, and it's kind of being duplicated next to it, and then the rest of this is built behind, I'm not sure how the height of it could be changing. That hasn't been addressed. At least in any of the letters, they haven't said that they're changing the height of the historic house, which I think would be important. And the other concern that my client has, at least the main concern, is that on the front elevation, where there originally was one window in between the historic house and sort of the duplication of it on the right, now there's two windows, a separate feature being added there, which gives it sort of a larger appearance on the top and sort of tends to more overwhelm the historic house that's there. The original plan kind of, I mean, not that it didn't necessarily overwhelm it to begin with, but it duplicated it without kind of adding a lot over the top. So I guess, I mean, our biggest concern obviously is figuring out what's happening with the height there, because that is a discrepancy that doesn't appear to be resolved.
Okay, I think we should find,
Thank you.
I'm not. So what about the height?
We
That's
raised the
true.
ridge.
You're making a duplicate of the original,
We're keeping the original, and the side addition is going to be the same exact height.
so why is it taller than it was? Is it? Or is that just? I don't, you know.
I think what we're doing is we're focused on what we had and what we have now, and the change, instead of just looking at this for what it is. You know, even at the previous meeting, the only resistance that we got was people pointing out changes from what was originally approved. But we're here to ask you for approval for this design. We had to make several changes to
So we're
it.
asking you if the height of the historic, the one historic gabled part, and there's the twin, right, with a connector.
They are going to be identical.
Right.
And we did not change any of the heights here. I cannot speak to this drawing, the previously approved drawing, because there was several drafting errors that I needed. That's why I'm here. I'm here to correct their errors. So I don't know why they look different, but this is,
Let's
my
start
drawing is
here.
accurate.
What is the height, what's your understanding of the height of the historic house?
That's not on here, is it?
18 foot 1 inches to the bottom of the eave. I'm sorry, 21 feet to the bottom of the eaves.
To the bottom.
Right, to the bottom of the
Okay,
eave.
okay, but to the peak of the gable, isn't that the highest point of the historic part?
Yes, I do not have that
Where I
dimension.
come from?
I do not have that dimension on the drawings. But we're not changing it. It is the existing
We have
house.
You're not changing it?
We're not taking down that portion of the house. It's on stilts right now. and
I
it's-
have seen it, yes. So now what do we do?
So you're not changing plate heights or anything?
It's an
on the-
existing home.
And you're going to match that in the other form?
Exactly.
So whatever the height is?
Of the
whether it
existing,
was right
the
or
new is
wrong
going to
last
be, right.
time,
It's going to be the
It's going to
same.
remain that.
So your proposal is not a real reflection of current?
It is. The bottom drawing is the current. The upper
Bottom
drawing,
drawing is your proposed,
the bottom drawing,
is your proposed.
Is my
The top is
proposed.
what you're
One of the
saying is your-
forms exists.
This is what's left.
Yeah, no, I get
Oh,
that.
okay.
What I'm saying is, so do we understand, the top half is what's current, it's what was pre-approved, prior approved. What you're saying is I'm making changes now, and that's the bottom half, which is the proposed. Couple of things that come in mind, and you know what, when she said it, now my eye rushes to it. The gables are being pushed up. That also is the illusion of the house coming up. If you look on the A2,
right.
you see the gables are being pushed up.
Well, it's the roof that's connecting in between them, right? What was drawn previously, at the last meeting, I explained you can't really construct it because you have a wall and you have a roof. It's a big water problem. Those gables would collect water.
They're not part of your bubble as changes. That's,
Yeah, the whole top of the roof is bubbled.
Yeah, here's the
It's all
bubble.
bubbled.
Yeah,
I'm on A2.
Yeah,
A1.
on
We're
A1.
looking at A1, the front elevation.
Do we,
On A2. Look on A2, which is the,
Right, so that's why I
Eastern
put that bubble,
elevation.
that's why I put that bubble here.
with the bubble here, your bubble's not here, where your gables have all been lifted. They've all
The
increased.
dormers, or?
The dormers, yes.
I don't think that they were drawn right in that drawing.
That's the question at hand. What's,
Look in the rear, and look on, again, it's the previously approved drawings. I can't tell you enough, like, they were incorrectly drafted. There was errors all over them, and that's why I'm here. I'm here to find these errors, and so now I corrected
so
it.
it's- but the challenge with that comment is you brought in a set of plans you knew that was flawed?
No.
Well, you said they're not drawn correctly.
But
They were from
it's the
another
previous
person.
approved.
Yeah.
He's just
He
not
wasn't the
responsible.
architect.
I'm not beating you
I
up, I'm
do
just
think
trying to
that-
understand what's being
Yeah.
proposed.
it-
Were the plans that previously approved actually built that way?
No, this is not
No.
construction.
Never been
I'm here,
built.
I'm coming to you to gain your approval for construction.
They
We didn't build
simply
anything.
removed, they've only kept this one gabled part of the old, okay, and it's on stilts or something.
We're here proactively to get an approval before we
Right.
start
Thank
construction.
God someone came beforehand.
We're trying to do our best.
Yes.
But I feel like we're getting, again, generating this list of changes, but we're just asking you, we came to you with this home, and we think it's going to be beautiful, and we would like your approval to build it.
I do think those dormers are pretty high up there.
On which one? On A2?
A-
I'll
A2.
propose on A2.
On the right, I don't know what size, but the east side, I think.
So that's where part of that additional height is coming from the fact that that ridge line has been reduced. That ridge line used to match the big ridge line in the middle. It's come down about 2 feet, 2.5 feet.
I'm not against that, because I didn't like that big thing in the back. Right? So, because I thought it overwhelmed the historic, I mean, the more you could show the historic, theoretically, at this point. I'm whooped.
So the south side of A2 on the south side, I think our comment was that the roof line increase, which, looking at it, kind of does, but, you know, this is a hard,
You know, when
like
you're,
a foot and a half difference between the two.
yeah, I think when you're standing on the ground, looking up at it, or anywhere really, you might not even see where that roof, you know, comes in and ties in.
I'm not against it. What ends up happening is they reduce the roof line here to be more secure.
No, I don't like that big roof in the back. I was always against that. I don't know. So, board, where are we?
Curtis, are you saying you'd rather see one slightly lower ridge line on the back, on the north side?
I'm comparing it to the prior, maybe we should stop doing that.
Yep.
Should we just go with the lower,
comparing,
with
just
the
go with this as
proposed?
being the proposed.
Yep.
I think that's probably the right approach. Since we're not,
So-
that's moot.
I'm stuck on this height issue. I actually, my opinion is, it looks nicer to have the old gable form get closer to the ridge line, the new ridge line that's proposed. It promotes and celebrates the old form a little more. But I would want to be sure that this is the height of the existing house. I accept that it's on a crib, and I think you have the ability to raise it on a foundation slightly if you want.
Yeah, yeah.
That may be part of what's going on here, but
They'll definitely match. That's a key element in the design.
yeah, it's not just the matching part, but it's also making sure that we're not somehow
Boosting
sneaking
it
in
up.
another foot or two of height on the historic form, which you
Yeah,
say is
and we
not
don't
the
want to do
case.
that at all, no. We want to match it.
Okay. I agree with you, Curtis, that maybe just focusing on the
It makes it simpler.
with respect to, and you've explained some of this last time and this time about the drainage on the front, on the south elevation A1, that the way the dormer form worked before, you had a water and snow accumulation issue that would not have worked well.
Yeah, it would have leaked.
So, as I understand what you're doing here, you're creating, equal to the tops of the two gables, you're creating a shed dormer, the top of a shed dormer that comes down to the eave line of those gables, in which is set into that is another dormer that pops out. And then you align the windows from that 2.5 story and the second story and the doors down in the bottom. And then you're adding in a shed roof then between the first and the second floors on the connector, and the others probably again to deal with drainage.
The water,
as well.
yeah, and the snow.
Okay.
Any other public comments?
Any public,
Sorry, if I can just understand, again, regarding the height of the existing house, is there a way we can just get that confirmed? Because they're not calling out the height of the existing, they're saying the old plans are wrong, but they're not calling out anywhere what the height of the
Okay.
existing gable is. So we'd like confirmation that that's going to remain the same.
What's the height?
doesn't know.
He said he doesn't know.
We're gonna match it, whatever it is, so we could put that, into this meeting somehow.
You wanna
Do we
put
have
something
the
on
height
record as a
in any
number?
of the previous, Rob, you don't need, in those plans? Let's just look at
Just check on
another.
that.
That's relying on another architect's tape measure.
No, we've
Okay.
already, that's why I want, I'm sorry. It would probably be helpful for you to also get away from prior application to current. You're proposing a new application with some, an adjustment of a prior approval, but your new design. What are your heights? You should know at least what the heights are, not
Well,
just
he's got the heights
I have it
except for
right
the
here
gable.
as 21 feet.
21.
To the bottom
Well,
of
it's showing
the,
21 to the bottom, but, I mean, I know we're getting away from the prior drawings, but on the prior drawing, that list, his measurement here calls that out as 16.
That's not my measurement,
So-
though. I did not take that measurement.
Okay,
You're
never mind.
you're proposing 21.
It's an existing structure. I'm not proposing a height.
I guess
It's an
I'm just
existing building.
confused as to how it changed so greatly and to how we can get that confirmed.
Because I think the previous drawings were,
How greatly are we talking, what is the greatness of the
Between, the
change?
difference from the bottom is from 16 to 21. The top of previously it was listed as being 28 feet tall, and now it's shown as, it's not called out, but it's just it's just below the peak, which is listed at 32. It's not called out as to what it is, though, on A2.
I called it out on A1. That's where I put that
It isn't called
dimension.
out on A1. The peak of the peak
I
of
didn't call it the
gable in
peak, that's
front
correct.
is not called out. And the board also had some, previously there was some comment on changing some of the windows on the west elevation. I didn't bring it up because the board already had, but my client is on the west side. We agree with those changes. So we're hopeful those could get made, the window changes that were
Okay.
suggested.
Yeah, well, they're going to take 6
Tonight?
inches of width out of.
the ones we discussed tonight.
Yeah.
Right, but I assume new elevations would need to be submitted.
We're going to match
can't
with
just-
what's previously approved above the drawing. That's what we're going to do.
Without the,
If there's changes to the windows, my client would like the opportunity to review them and confirm that I don't know that just deleting 6 inches is really,
That's exactly what they're asking me to do. They're asking me to reduce the width of them.
right, but
To
ordinarily
add
the
1
board
foot on
would-
either side, which is 2 feet, divided by 3 windows would be about 8 inches on every window. That's what-
I understand, but
that's what they're
ordinarily the board requires updated elevations when windows are changed. It's not normally done verbally.
Can you make?
well, it wouldn't be done verbally, it'd have to
Can you
be.
make
Right.
handwritten?
We've allowed
Can make handwritten
handwritten
changes.
changes
No,
by
yeah.
Two sets of plans.
but
Sure,
if you're,
we can do that right now.
Let's get it. So would the neighbors like the architect who's representing his own design make handwritten changes to 2 sets of plans that be submitted as a part of the file that will be stamped?
I mean, we'd like to review them before it's approved.
They're here to review.
No, that it's not what's,
We were talking about dimensions in terms of size, distance from window from the edge, correct?
no, I understand what we're talking about. I'm just saying,
she's
as
saying her
representing
client would
my,
like the chance to review it.
They want to review.
and I would like
the
to
It is
get
the
clarity
same.
on.
It is the same width as the windows above. This is an attempt to slow
we-
down this process.
But we were told the windows on the drawings above are not accurate in any way, so I'm not sure how we can then rely on them for the windows.
Again,
So-
this is clearly just a way to disrupt the process.
That's for us to determine.
My client lives next door. They'd like to make sure that any changes to what's approved are not going
Just
to
as a
more
matter of
adversely
reference.
affect them.
The neighbors do have a right to make comment. They have a right to
Okay.
make suggestions and recommendations. This board still has the right to say yes, no, or agree.
Okay.
So, just so we don't get to the arguments.
So do you want to adjourn it? I mean, there have been a lot of questions, I would have to say. I hate to slow it down, but it's 2 weeks.
Well, your board is not the reason this is where it is.
I understand that.
Secondly,
That's the
you
story
normally
of the whole
require
meeting.
full specification,
Yeah.
quarter scale
Okay, so let's
drawings.
just ask for really, I think we need to adjourn till the next meeting in order to get an accurate set of plans with heights, widths, and addressing her issues. Okay?
It might be a good idea if you got a copy of those plans to them,
Oh,
make the submission to the
that
village.
was,
Is that a requirement? to
Not
send
at
them
all,
in?
No,
not
but
at
you
all, but you're the one
wanted
who
to
wants to
slow down
expedite
again,
this.
we can,
So why
if
wouldn't,
she's,
what's the harm in doing that?
yeah, their counsel can come and say, we saw the plans, fine, maybe. You know? What is the point of not sharing information? I've never understood that.
Once you submit it here, it's a public document.
Okay,
So what is it that the board would like me to do? Correct these windows, the width of the
They
windows?
want to see a full
And put a
set-
dimension.
They want to
Full
see a
set.
full set of detailed plans.
That's what this is.
No, in scale, properly scaled. Those are not scaled.
Those were not previously submitted, though, through this file. Everything was 11 by 17. Their original elevations
You're not
were-
going to get anywhere arguing this
Okay.
point, sir.
So now I need quarter scale drawings.
Yes.
Yes,
With the numbers called out on the drawings.
of the height of, but that's,
You can talk to Diane about that,
Okay, I
but
will.
we need the numbers called out on the drawings. She'll accept, the building inspector will accept less than quarter inch now. That would be acceptable, but you need to check. But if it comes up to be an issue next time, and there's a question about a number that's not there, then you can't say you weren't warned.
Do we have a mechanism for just confirming the height of the existing structure?
It should be stated on the drawings.
it-
Can't be
so there-
confirmed until
now
you
we're changing
put the
like a
house
big
up.
section of windows. It is,
Yeah, no, I'm
it's not
not.
a small,
Every
it's not
change that we made
one
was an
window,
improvement.
as they say.
No, I understand. I'm just wondering to avoid, to just get clarity on that issue of the height, the ridge height on the current gable. It's
They have
not a
to-
historic structure, so
It
Zach's
is a
not gonna,
historic.
No, it's non-historic.
Oh,
Non-historic district.
It's not historic.
non-historic, okay.
The reference says it, but it's not
It-
historic.
Okay,
all right.
so, are you-
So if it's in order, you can get your approval at the next meeting.
What does that mean?
You don't have to
If it's
wait.
historic, you'd have to wait another meeting.
so it's non-his,
I'm just trying to clarify if there's anything else besides the heights being clarified and the windows being shrunken down and the scale of my drawings changing. Those are the
No.
three things that we need.
that seems like it,
Okay,
doesn't it? So are you asking us to adjourn to our next meeting?
only if I'm not allowed to note on the drawings that we're going to match the existing and shrink the windows 8
Right,
inches.
but we
up to
actually
top.
we need measurements.
Your challenge came when you start mentioning that you couldn't rely on the prior elevations.
Because I can't.
Well,
Well, that's the problem for us, because we're looking at your presentation, and you can't rely on
I thought the
you.
bottom of the eave and the top of the ridge were sufficient. The points in between are up to you guys, right?
Well, not on the existing building.
But, all right. But to say that I'm going to match the existing structure, it's not going to be removed or
Well, there
demolished.
seems to be a discrepancy in what, there's like a 5-foot questionable area. It's just not worth arguing about. Let's
Okay,
just get
I'm
it
sorry.
straightened out, sir, and then we'll be finished. I really, this entire evening has been like trying to get just straight information. It's available, it's out there somewhere. Okay?
I felt that this was fairly.
Okay, I know, I'm sure it's disappointing. It'll be over soon.
Okay.
Motion to approve applicant's request to adjourn until our next meeting.
So moved.
Second, aye.
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 Okay, see you on July 8th.
Thank you.
Next, Seesaw 68 LLC, 68 Pheasant Lane. Amend the prior ARB approval for revisions.
Evening.
Yeah?
You guys approved the original set of plans, then we came in for an addition. I have a mini
Just say
set.
your name for the record,
And
please.
we're
Yeah,
Hamilton Hogue. The name of the client is Robin von Buckhorst and Marissa Rose, Seesaw 68. This is the 8.5-foot addition
Thing.
that we wanted to add in addition to the last one. You approved at 21. We want to add another 8 inches. 8 feet, rather.
8 feet?
Yeah. It's basically a little sunroom.
To the rear of the house?
It's on A102, rear of the house, 140 feet.
And didn't we approve that? Now you're making it longer? Is that what you're saying?
Well, at the last meeting,
Yeah.
we mentioned that we wanted to make it 10 feet longer, and you guys liked it. So I said, just to make sure our Ts are crossed and our Is
Okay.
are dotted,
Because I thought
that
we had
we'd
done
come
this.
back with the
Actual
actual-
measurement. With the real measurements?
real actual
Okay,
measurements
great.
and not just
All right.
something written down.
Is there?
So in other words,
okay.
you approved 21 feet, we want to add 8 feet on.
Okay, I see it.
And it's indicated by the highlighters on your mini set.
Hands down, it's making it evident. It's good.
Okay, we have a model too, if you'd like to see that.
It was a beautiful model, I must say. Does anyone, do you want to see the model? Anyone on the board?
I didn't see these plans, so I'd like to look at them full size.
Those were approved last November. There have been no changes to the plans, with the exception,
Stamped June 21st.
just with the 8-foot section, yeah. They match the mini sets that you have, Rob, and they match with what you approved on the meeting on June 10th.
In the meantime, is there anyone who would like to comment? Okay, no. I don't have any objection, but we're waiting for Rob, that's fine.
And just so I understand, I use the smaller ones.
That's it. This is what we want to add, Rob,
Yep.
which we showed you at the last meeting.
Just
Just
trying to
that.
understand, the railing above this, the top railing, does that exist? Was that
No,
was
this is all
approved?
new. This is new.
I'm not
railing-
talking about that railing.
The railing on the last application was approved.
I'm just trying to understand the drawings.
Yeah, no problem.
This is why I like to see full elevation side by side, because I want to make sure I understand. There's two railings. This one is the one that's on top there, right, that's shaded. This
Right.
railing up here, is that on a different
It's the
form?
same railing.
It's just perspective.
It's the same railing, it just continues to show the addition. In other words, it extends 8 feet.
The addition's
There's
not
two-
done yet, Rob.
I'm sorry?
They haven't started yet.
We haven't started yet.
I understand. I'm
Okay.
being thick about this, so I'm just going to belabor it. There's two railings here, there's two levels of railings.
That
This
railing,
level-
the one on the left, Rob, exists. That one exists.
So on this side, there's two levels of railings. There's this level, and there's this level.
And they're saying that that is actually the continuation.
That's correct, yes.
Are there
We
two?
had, what we had originally was we wanted to do a decorative outer railing,
Yes.
which is what this represents, and an inner railing, it would be a safety railing. But in this case, it could go either way. All they want is a little Juliet balcony, as I said at the last one, which is what you approved. So this railing would be,
Do you see what I'm seeing here? Am I not explaining, just, let me just, do a small conference here. I'm talking about this railing up here. I get
What's
that
that?
this is an addition to that, but what's this railing here?
Rob, I'm sorry, you're looking through that railing into the main house railing.
That's what I'm wondering, because I
Yeah.
don't see a full elevation, I
Yeah,
don't
no
see
problem.
full
Yeah,
floor
but-
plans.
This.
So I want to make
where's
sure
the
I
little
understand what we're approving as new. I'm sorry.
No problem. Sorry. Well, if you look at this, this is
thing?
the
Have that
house.
little thing again.
This is the house. Can the camera
that?
see that?
Let's just have that out here for now. That's good, thank
There
you.
you go.
Why is that?
Kind of. There. Okay, do you see this guy down here, Rob?
Yep.
Okay, that's the south elevation.
Right.
That is that.
So the railing I'm seeing above and behind that.
These railings here on the main house were all approved.
Yes, I understand.
This was
Okay.
approved. The one back there that you're looking at on the side exists and is not going to be changed.
Good.
Okay?
So I'm seeing the compression of many layers from that side elevation.
Yeah, it's a
I'm
little
seeing-
weird if you look at it from that
Well, I
angle.
just, without the full floor plan, I couldn't
Got
see
it.
what I was seeing. So I just want to make sure it's just that shaded 8 feet and the railing immediately above it that wraps around
Yeah,
this
the
form
whole
here.
thing is
This
wrapped around. But what we did is we want to make a little sunroom that goes another 8 feet,
Yeah.
okay, to the south.
Right, I'm good.
Motion
I'm
to
good.
approve applicant's request to amend a prior ARB decision.
So moved.
Second.
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Great. Moving along. Oh, you okay? Do you want a moment? Next. Rose Stewart and Tyler Dixon, 54 Meeting House Lane. Amend a prior ARB approval for revisions.
I talked to you about the change of the back of change of the back of the house.
Could we just establish, are these the exact same plans that you had at the last meeting?
No, I've changed them. I'm going to
Oh,
offer
Are there
you.
any copies for us?
Yes, here they
Oh,
are.
okay, sorry.
Okay. The back of the house has like an L, and it's the dining room.
But which house?
Plans that were
The one-
approved.
Yeah. of
It
the
was on
approved
this
house?
side. It was on the left, right side, I'm sorry, from your vision. We flipped it. And when we flipped it, we ended up with 2 chimneys on one side. And that was very strenuously objected to.
Yes.
And we are willing to get rid of that second chimney.
That's nice of you. Yes, that's a good idea. And
And we did add a
covered porch?
covered porch.
Right.
And at the very back of this set that I sent you, I gave to you just now, are pictures of the,
Existing,
what it would look like.
Oh. It's so awful. Oh, okay.
You want to?
No, thank you. So is that a metal roof over that porch?
Yes,
Or
it
is that
is.
just my imagination? No?
That is a metal roof over the,
Uh-huh.
What color is that roof?
it's gonna be a gray. We're having it priced in copper, but I remember the last meeting, you didn't seem to like copper standing. You didn't like any standing seam.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Is there another one with a shingle roof? Another?
No, it's only a 3-pitch, and that's why we weren't putting wood on it, because it would have to be repaired, because it also faces south, so it's going to take a real beating from the sun, and the
Well, we're saying
outside...
there's two different pictures here. There's one with a
they're
seam
from
roof and the other
from
one.
end, one side of the yard and one from the other.
That's funny, there's a house in both of them in that red bush.
That's the pool house.
What's this?
That's the house.
Yeah, and what's this? The roof.
Oh, she asked for skylights on the roof, so she could get some sun
This
into
is the roof of the porch, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's
That's not metal.
not
That's
seam roof.
shingles.
Oh, okay. Well, there were two options. Sorry.
You're killing me here.
I'm sorry.
I'm
I
close.
apologize.
I am close. All right, someone else talk, because I'm speechless, really I am at this point now. I don't, okay.
You want?
Please, somebody else go.
What are you proposing? Are you proposing the seam roof, or are you proposing a wood or asphalt roof?
We are proposing the, even asphalt couldn't be put on that low. I'm just explaining.
Because of the pitch, you
because
believe
of the
that a
pitch,
seam
right.
roof would be
I
the
thought of the
best
seam roof.
scenario.
If you will not accept the seam roof, of course, I will go with wood shingles.
And
but
you can't change the pitch a little?
the problem is that it's up under the windows of
I
the
see
back.
that.
And if we made it higher, it would be over the window.
You won't even see
Then
that.
we would have to
roof.
change the windows.
You won't even see that roof.
When
Well, that's
the
amazing.
pitch
Yeah,
goes
just
up
doing it.
sometimes and you create a well around the windows, I think that looks
Yeah, I looked
more
into that,
offensive than a
and I thought,
seam metal roof.
Correct.
I did look into that, and I thought that it was much more ado about nothing.
I appreciate the responsiveness to the concerns. We all know how some of them came around. My biggest concern was the two large chimneys on one side. So the reduction to one, to me, is a big change. I know it's probably a disappointment, but that, to me, was the biggest change. And I think the back of the house looks nice, actually.
Thank you.
Generally okay.
I have no issue with your.
Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak about this changed application? No. Well, I'm not making a motion. Someone else can, if they'd like.
So I'll make a motion that we approve the revised application for Rose Stewart and Tyler Dixon at 54 Meeting House Lane.
Second.
Aye.
Nay.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, James Gleason, 128 Halsey Street. Construct additions and renovations to existing dwelling and accessory garage.
Good evening.
Hello, your name?
Kirk Lehman, AML Architecture, 184 Main Street. There's the affidavits. For additional renderings, they're identical to what you have in the file, I believe.
This is posting and mailing we've got?
It is, yes.
It's all good?
It's all in order.
Great.
I believe the garage may have not been in there, just in case I brought a copy. No changes if it was in there.
Not really. Goodness. Do you want us to adjourn for 5 minutes, or are you okay?
No, it's okay. It's just
Okay.
emergency service.
To this stuff? To the copies? This is cute.
So there's 3 minor additions to the main house. We just received ZBA approval. Basically, their existing kitchen is very tiny. It's 9 by 12, not even. We're replacing the kitchen, putting an additional bedroom above. On the westerly side of the house, we're putting on a new covered porch. And on the southerly side of the house, we're taking what is now a small sunroom and making it into a bedroom. We're keeping the same ridge height, keeping the same style of the house. And also a detached garage, which I also submitted, which is replacing an existing garage, which is 2-car, and is now becoming a single-car, more conforming garage.
I have no objections
How
to
far
this.
is the garage back from the street?
35 feet, 32 feet. I can look it up if you'd like. From the street, it is
Yeah,
41 feet. From the property line, it is 29 feet.
Is there more than one survey?
Can you turn that around so?
That's
Zoom in, Joe? Can you zoom in, Joe?
No more.
Garage is over here.
Oh.
Existing garage is currently 34 feet
Okay.
from the street, and we're pulling it back to 41 feet from the
Excellent.
street.
Thank you for turning the doors.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Side street.
Welcome.
Can you pan out a little now, please? Thank you.
It really is.
The house
Really-
looks quite smart.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
No, I know this house well.
Feel better.
Good job.
It's pretty, isn't it?
It was very hard to think about how you could make that kitchen bigger.
You've seen it?
That was a small kitchen.
Could go to Soup and Soda and skip the kitchen. That's always my idea. 2 meals a day.
Any public comment?
Is there a roof plan? Is the roof changing much, or I'm not sure I saw a roof plan on this.
The roof of the main house is not changing at all, and the small gable kitchen is basically expanding to
Just
do.
expanding it.
Correct. And the ridge heights are remaining the same, no change to ridge height, which is 22.5 feet, I believe.
Is there anyone from the public who would like to comment on this application? Board? I think it's
I think
great.
it's adorable.
I'll make a
Okay.
motion that we approve the application of James Gleason at 128 Homestead Street.
Second.
Aye.
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 Thank you very much.
And they said we move
Good
slow.
luck.
Next, 71 Flying Point Management LLC. Is there a letter in the file? There was no posting or mailing done. It has to be reposted and remailed, if it ever was done. Because, and, is there anything in there? So,
No
no
jurisdiction.
jurisdiction.
Let's move on to the next case.
Okay, next. Public hearings, historic. Thomas and Meredith Joyce, 765 Hill Street. COA to demolish. Letter, oh, it was adjourned already. Is that correct?
You're correct.
Next, and this one was too. Louise Coral? That was not?
Was, but now they're asking for the 8th.
Okay. Letter requesting adjournment to 7/8/2019. Is that in there?
You're ahead of me by
Okay,
one folder.
I'm waiting,
That's all right.
I'm waiting.
This is no longer Hill Street. This is,
This is North Main Street,
okay.
Coral.
So there is a letter requesting an
Okay,
adjournment until July 8th.
motion to approve the letter requesting an adjournment for Louise Coral at 68 North Main Street.
So moved.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Next, Beechwood Latch LLC, 101 Hill Street. Construct 7 multifamily dwellings, clubhouse, and alterations to Latch Building.
This is
And the lighting plan?
Lighting plan, yes.
Yes.
There we go. Look at that. Lovely.
So we also have.
Joe had a chance to see these last time that he was here. 'Cause I know he was particularly interested.
I don't think he did, but I was the one who was particularly interested.
Both were. Okay.
Yeah.
He'll have a chance.
I just
Okay.
didn't want it to be all lit up.
Thank you.
How bright are the lights?
So they range from 40 watts incandescent. Some of them are LED, and they're only like 7 watts.
Yeah.
40 watt
Transfers to
equivalent.
like a 40-watt bulb. The ones that are the brightest are the green streetlights. Those are 100-watt incandescent.
Okay.
What we try to do is keep everything that are on the latch and the Terry Cottage to a more historic looking fixture that we actually found on one of the postcards. So it kind of matches as close as possible.
And what's the wattage on that light? Is that a 40 watt equivalent?
This one here, it's in your packet there. They should be highlighted.
Well, they can accept, oh, I see. Okay.
It's the small sconce, it's a 40-watt bulb.
Yeah, understand. Thank you.
And all of these are going to be between 2,700 and 3,000 Kelvin, so all of them are going to look like incandescent and not like metal halide or halogen. So, and then can we flip this over? And then on all the other,
But can we show that on, can you put that on the table, please? So he can pick it up, because we need a record. Thank you.
and then on all the units, the sconces that are on the units are these restoration hardware
Those
ones.
are handsome.
I love those.
And those as well are
I didn't know
2-watt
that.
LED, 25-watt equivalent. So they're not real
Okay.
bright, but just
Yeah, no.
just enough to give a glow
Great,
to
because,
the...
you know, with something that's
entrances.
dense, we gotta watch it,
Right.
and the brightness.
Now, the wattage equivalent for the LEDs, I don't see on these. Is it on the larger version of the plans, or?
Oh,
it's on the
Actually, you know what? Here, I got this. So these plans have the equivalents on there. So this 4-watt is equal to 40 watts. The one that we were talking about right now, this is a 2-watt, which is equivalent to a 25-watt.
Okay.
Okay.
So nice.
Okay.
Subtle.
So we've
Like a huge.
We've also done a photometric, which you have now. And as you can see from that, we've tried to keep all the lighting on the interior of the property. None of it projects out towards the
Nice.
neighbors.
Okay, good.
They're either on the front of the buildings or the sides.
So there's no rear sitting areas?
It's not
No,
very-
only on the sides. Only on the sides.
There's some setback issues there, but that's the best they can do. Well, yeah,
Just understand, the street lighting, that's an LED array on the top of the fixture, just shining down? Is that
Yes.
what I'm seeing? Okay.
Yes, so it's up inside it, so you don't see the actual
It's
source.
really important,
It-
actually.
it
So
kind of-
they'll be brighter for public safety, but it doesn't shine out
Message
through
to
the
the
glass.
village of
It shines down.
Southampton.
Correct.
Okay, I appreciate that. Okay, because I was gonna, if you had the bulbs exposed, I was gonna ask about frosted glass on some sides, but with it shining down, I don't think it's as much of an issue. Yeah.
anyone else? Anyone from the public have any comment on this? Lighting plan? Yeah. Mr. Fleetwood, can you just move a little?
You're
so we
talking
know?
about hardware, and I must have missed.
Sorry.
There's no
Just
microphone.
identify yourself, too.
There's no microphone there.
Yeah, you just need to give your name, is all I was saying. But if
And
you come over here,
to the
there's,
table because
there's a mic
no
here that
mic.
will pick you
Oh, I
up.
see, okay, fine.
Thank you.
Well, I just would love to know who approved this unbelievable overbuild of a small tract of land. That's right adjacent to Whitefield, is it not?
Yes, it's.
Yes. Now, do you know what the traffic on Hill Street is like from about 7 till 9 in the morning and from about 4 until 6 in the evening. It stands still. And you're dumping how many people? Well, who has approved this?
The zoning board and the planning board, I think, have both reviewed it. We don't really have purview over
I
traffic.
assume it went through a secret review? You would
Yeah,
know.
it's
It did.
gone-
No, you gave it a negative declaration, right?
That's a secret.
You didn't look into the traffic impact.
Yeah, we did.
From soup to nuts,
What's
I'm
all
pretty
this?
sure this has been vetted.
And you're looking at hardware now, you know.
But we have been in this process, Evelyn, for quite a long time.
Well, I was at the beginnings of it, and I guess I missed a great deal,
It's been going
especially
on
the
for
secret review.
months.
I think it's been in front of the planning board and the ARB for 2.5 or 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I did see some of it, but I don't remember any secret review. That is in the file? The full review, thank you.
Anyone else?
I wish they were secret.
Do you have anyone have any objections? How are we doing with the lighting? Good?
I'm fine with it, yeah.
Motion to, so this would be a motion to approve
To
the
refer.
final approval of everything?
So this would be,
We have outstanding the restoration of the latch and this.
it's all going to be
All
together.
else
All
has
in
been
one
approved. All else,
package.
no, it's all been other, there were 3 other segments of this. So
Right,
all
I
of those
know
have been
that.
approved.
Everything related to the original latch building, we've reviewed, we seem comfortable with, but we have not approved it.
Right.
You're
right.
waiting to add this
Now
in.
this is the approval for
So
the
this would be
condos.
Written decision.
Closed for written decision.
motion to close Beechwood Latch LLC, 101 Hill Street, to construct 7 multifamily buildings, clubhouse, and to alter the latch building, plus the lighting plan.
I moved.
Second, aye.
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 Wow.
Thank you
This is
very
an
much.
extra for us, so you might as well keep it.
Thank you so much.
So I guess.
Thanks for the
I mean,
responsiveness on everything.
Bo,
Yes.
it's not, we don't know exactly when they're going to get that. Might not be next time.
There's a good chance it'll be next time.
Okay, thanks very much. You were very cooperative and you provided a lot of detail. Thank you.